Hello, how are you? I sincerely wish that every single one of you is having a wonderful day. Today, I think we should discuss something which we might have or should have discussed previously, and it's getting to a certain point to the crux of the issue, what's going on right now in the world. Before we start, we'll begin with a pasuk. LeDavid Mizmer, Ladinay Aretz U'Malaya, Tevel V'Yeshveva, which means that the earth and all therein is Hashem's, the world and its inhabitants. One of the unique aspects of history which we are all experiencing at present is that this is the first time that the entire globe has been affected with the same thing, and it's caused the world to stop like never before. So we're talking about something truly, literally global. When we talk about the world, as the verse said over here, L'Hashem ha'aretz u'malaya, it's all God. As the most famous verse in Judaism, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. God is one. Traditional Judaism interprets this to mean that what is the main tenet of Judaism, that there's one God. Chassidic Torah, philosophy, one of the major innovations was the concept that God is not only one, as there's only one God, but that God is one, He is all of reality. As the Baal Shem Tov said in Yiddish, der Rebbe is alles, und alles is der Rebbe. God is everything and everything is God. So in light of this, especially, we're dealing with something global, and we're saying this whole global thing is really God. So how do I fit in? What's my role? What about me? So, the truth is, we have to inculcate ourselves with a principle, which we discussed yesterday about principles, and this is a principle which I don't think is stressed enough, and that is, מחשבתן של ישראל קדמה לכל דבר. The thoughts of the Jews precedes everything. Or Berashit, בשביל ישראל ובשביל התורה. At the outset, begin with the end in mind. What is the world all about? A Jew and his way of life. Now, of course, what do you mean? There's billions of insects and flies and animals. There's the animal kingdom, there's flowers, there's grass. There's Jupiter, there's Mars, there's the moon. And you're saying that all of this is that Shmero should be sitting in shul davening, or Yankel should be sitting in his house and learning? And the answer is yes. So how does that work? Is it about billions or about one? Is it about the macro or the micro? Is it global? Or is it details? And this is one of the beauties of Judaism, especially to any student of Hasidism, where we learn again and again about the fusion of opposites and how nothing is one-dimensional. There's layers and layers and layers. And it's not a contradiction to say that the entire universe was created for you, בשביל nivra olam, for you and for you alone, and at the same time was created for everyone else alone. How does that work? There's layers. And the Eibush is the ultimate magician. And he can make all these seemingly contrasting, paradoxical elements, and yet it all fits. How? We have to learn and study more and more, and we'll learn a lot about this. And there's some things that only God will explain one day. So, concerning what's going on right now, this pandemic, and what's going on across the entire globe, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Mexico, Caracas, Australia. So on the one hand, every single detail, the leaf turning over, is very, very specific with great intention, and there's a purpose why that leaf is a turnover. That's about the leaf and how it fits into the general design of the universe. But at the same time, the entire pandemic is also that you should become a better person. You as you. Of course, also as a part of the Jewish nation. So I want to share with you a story of the Rebbe Rashab. We've spoken about the Rebbe Rashab recently a couple of times, and we said some stories. So I want to share with you today a story which is not so well known, which every single time I read this story, I tremble at the awesomeness and the enormity of the story. And the story goes like this. It's printed in Sefer HaSichos Tafshin Daled Amid 159, a book of talks of the previous Rebbe of 1944, the summer of 1944, while World War II was raging. And he starts off on page 159, Ois Yud Daled. He says that he's now going to say a story, something I'm going to reveal which I couldn't reveal before, but I could reveal it now. And it's about the previous World War. And he says, before the World War I broke out, there was a time that the Russian government was going to come out with a decree. And the decree had come as a result of some Jews who had warped the Judaism, the authentic, original Judaism. And they were going to now corrupt it, contaminate it. And somehow they got the government to make a decree that all the previous chadarim, yeshivas, where Jews had learned Torah the authentic way, the true way, going back to the times of the giving of the Torah, was going to be changed, and they were going to make new modern schools, totally secular, which was going to be a danger to the entire religion. And these people had bought off the whole government, and the government agreed that they were going to close all the original, authentic, true yeshivas and pay off all the teachers and whoever had jobs. But from a certain date, it's all shut down, and the new system, secularized, poisoned, contaminated, warped and twisted Judaism was going to be now taught. So there was a gathering, an asifa, where the Rebbe Rashab was there with the Frierdiker Rebbe, his son, his only son, together with a few other great gedolim. He says there was a forgekum and ashtila asifa, there was a quiet, secret gathering from the Rebbe Rashab, Hagoyin Reb Chaim Brisker, the great Torah scholar Reb Chaim Brisker, Hagoyin Reb Chaim Oizer, together with Reb Chaim Oizer, and another two people. And I was also there, the Frierdiker Rebbe says. Anyways, they're trying to think how they can get out of this terrible, terrible upcoming disastrous decree. And they see that there's no way out. And the Rebbe Rashab told the Frierdiker Rebbe he should, one last thing, try to meet up with this and this person out of the country, out of Russia. But he told me then I should make sure to come back straight away. Just this was like a last ditch and effort thing. I was going to leave the country and try one more thing. And we're all sitting over there, and like we're looking like we're lost. There's nothing to do. Disaster coming at us. And the Rebbe Rashab said these words. Listen very carefully. Der Eibishter soll geben, as soll mekuyim werden, wie alle Mol in azam matzav. God should make it, allow it, that it should be fulfilled as what happens all the time in such circumstances. Again, the Eibishter soll geben, as soll mekuyim werden, wie alle Mol in azam matzav. Hashem should allow it that what should become fulfilled as what happens every time in such circumstances. Anyways, and the Frierdiker Rebbe says, he warned me again to come back straight away after leaving Russia for a couple of days. no matter what, I should come back quickly. And then the Frierdiker says, in a kurze Zeit später, a short time later, hat ausgebrochen die Weltmilchama. The world war broke out und es ist zerstört geworden, die Machshava von die Mafizia-Skola. And the plot of these betrayers of the true Judaism, corruptors, their plot was crushed, destroyed. And then he says, there's a statement, a wise statement, the past teaches is a teacher for the present, and a guide for the future. So I don't want to elaborate now. I don't want to state the obvious about what this means about the power of a tzaddik. I don't want to state the obvious that the previous Rebbe, from World War I until 1944, like 25, 30 years later, 20 years later, 25 years later, he's still living with this story and what happened. And that, what's the bottom line that comes clear here? That on one layer, what was World War I about? Preventing the corruption of Judaism. Now, someone's going to say, what are you talking about? Millions of people have to die. Millions of people have to suffer. Death on a mass scale, including Jews and non-Jews. Human life on such a monumental way. So that was all about, so that a plot in one country should be destroyed because it would have been a threat to Judaism. So the answer is, on one level, I repeat, on one level, yes. That's why there had to be World War I. And like the Rebbe Rashab said, the Eibusher should do what he does every single time in such circumstances. So we see a story printed black and white. Beraishis b'shvil Yisrael u'b'shvil HaTorah. What's going on right now in the entire world? It has something to do with you. It has something to do with the Jewish nation. And then in particular, the reason why you're in your house is because you have something to do there which is connected to your relationship with Hashem. And that's going to make you a better person and a better Jew, and to maximize and actualize your essence and your connection with Hashem. So what does that mean? Let's now go from the macro to the micro. You're in your house, and the tension is building because you're in such squashed places, and there's people there, and you might come easier to anger. So we say, no, exercise self-restraint, exercise self-control. The entire COVID-19 was so you should learn how to control yourself. How can I say that? It doesn't make sense. The answer is, on a certain layer, it does make sense. As far as you're concerned, as far as God looking at you, it's a true statement to say, the reason why this is all happening is that you should learn how to become a mentch. And you should learn how to become a better Yid. Beraishis b'shvil Yisrael b'shvil HaTorah. Including on an individualistic, personal level. So, there's a big world out there. What about me? I want you to take a small step of man, a giant step for the world. Everything that's going on over here in the entire world is so that you should exercise self-control and become a better person and deepen your relationship with Hashem. And I give you a bracha that you should succeed in this epic work of learning how to control yourself and becoming a better person in your small apartment where you're in isolation. And you will accomplish this great heroic feat of self-control. Wishing you success. Broadcasting from my home, Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, your man in Melbourne.